Hello, everyone. We are live at Epic headquarters. Wow, it's been a long time since I've said that.
It's been a minute, yeah.
I'm a little nervous today.
We'll get through it.
We'll get through it.
You can see how long Zach's beard's gotten.
Yeah, I mean, my beard is actually probably the time frame of when we were
Yeah,
last
the last time we were on here. Yeah, or in my hair length. I
There
think
you
my
go.
hair was like up here last time. We have somebody new here.
Mikey's joining us today.
Special guest.
What's up,
This
guys?
is Mikey with his Doom hoodie on. We're all FPS fans. We can't, you know. Got to do it. No, it's good. It's good. We have a lot of Doom fans that play YouTube.
I just finished it last night. It was fantastic. So
Oh, you did?
Mhm.
You liked it?
it was awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
It was good. It's fantastic.
So today we're going to talk about the Mapcore contest.
Yep. We just
And-
recently had a level design contest with the mapcore.org guys. It was really awesome.
There were tons of maps.
Mhm.
I didn't get to play many of them, but there were so many that you guys had
Yeah,
to
there
go
was
through.
30 plus entries.
There's a ton of
and-
awesome entries. Yeah.
Yep.
And so the guys at Mapcore went through them, and then the guys at Epic went through them. We play tested.
We play tested a bunch of them and then kind of narrowed it down to more of a focus group of about the top 10, and then we play tested those a little bit, and then we kind of narrowed it back down to 5, and then we played those a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And
We
then
sort of kept getting, compressing until we arrived at our.
And from what Mikey
Top
said, this
5.
was really hard to do because
Yeah.
there were so many good ones in there.
yeah, the top 5 are definitely really close together, and there's a few things that kind of pulled them all out and made us kind of make those final decisions, but the top 5 are really awesome. All the contributions were really cool. We had a lot of awesome entries, but those top 5 really close to nailing it right now.
Oh, awesome. So before we do that, we have not done streams for quite a while. We've been really heads down working on UT,
Yep.
trying to figure out ways to get news out to the community, and we haven't really been really great at that, other than talking to the community on the forums and
Yeah,
on
we're-
Twitter and Facebook.
We're
and
typically, we slow down engagement on streams a lot, and we've mainly been focused on kind of community interactions through Discord,
Yep, we're on Discord a lot.
forums, Twitter, Facebook, the typical places that we've been reaching out to previously. We just kind of slowed down streams until we had something really important to talk about, like this awesome contest. Discord is definitely a place that you can always find me. I'm on there watching everything. If you mention me or private message me, I try and get back to people. But yeah, we've been really active there.
Yep.
The whole team's been on there. We've had a lot of really good conversations about design, and I've been kind of shooting out new ideas that we're going to be trying to them before anybody else. So they've gotten to hear about it.
Yeah, and they've been super helpful too. It's been awesome. A lot of the stuff that we're talking to people with on like Facebook and Twitter is bug reports. So we get those and we take them, give them to the QA guys. They look. They've been really super helpful in pulling that stuff. And we're also going to maybe do some videos coming up.
Yep.
Is that-
We have 3 videos planned. The first you guys should be seeing is one that's going to be coming from me. We're going to be talking about matchmaking. Basically, in the build that you guys currently have right now, we have the earliest version of our matchmaking code in there. We've said we're going to be flipping it on basically during peak hours. That is not automated in any way whatsoever right now. We're going to have to flip that switch manually. So just kind of watch out for Discord. We're probably going to be running a few tech tests on there to make sure everything doesn't topple over. This is mainly a focus on infrastructure. We've still got a lot of stuff to work on as far as group queuing and other questions about how party works, what game modes we're going to be doing. Like, there's a lot of other questions about all that, but for now we're testing the infrastructure. And the first test will probably be people on Discord, and then from there we'll go bigger and say, hey, during these time frames in EU and NA, we're going to have matchmaking live. Come test it with us, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, and if people have questions about how it works, because everybody does. If you're in, well, what if I want to play with my friends in Europe, and stuff like that. So just to hop on Discord, hop on the forums, or just shoot us a message on social media.
So that'll be the first video they'll see, and then they'll have 2 more coming soon after that. Both of them are basically going to be Steve talking about high-level design philosophy and ideas about both the overall game when it comes to gameplay clarity, as well as flag run and what we're doing ultimately with this new game mode that we've been working on a little bit recently. It's kind of in the build right now, but we don't really outline the optimal rules to play it in, the right conditions and everything. In the build you guys have, Blackstone is the only map really, and we've kind of not talked a lot to the overall community, so we're going to be addressing that in a video that's coming to YouTube soon.
Awesome. And we're also making some changes to the armor system.
Oh yeah, just to touch on some really brief things about just general gameplay changes that are kind of coming to the next update. We'll be trying changing how fresh spawns are in almost every single game mode. Right now we're going to be adding 50 armor to every single fresh spawn, But what's interesting about that is we've also changed the entire armor system and how that works. We're going to be going away from more of the thigh pads, the chest, and where it kind of, it only had a slot to take in. Now it will be kind of more like there's a large armor and a small armor, and you can stack them up. So double thigh pads will actually still get you up to 100 armor, whereas before you could only get one thigh pad, and picking up the other one would only refresh it up to a certain amount. So there's some pretty big fundamental changes coming to that. Armor absorption rates are also going to be changing with that. So we're going to be looking at 50% absorb for normal armors, and then only shield belt above 100 armor will absorb at 100% absorption rate. So we're going to break out some of these new details a lot more in the upcoming change notes.
Are we going to talk about why we're doing that and what?
Yeah, there's several intentions for why we're doing that. Part of it is to kind of increase time to live, the initial interaction that people have, giving them that opportunity to turn around and interact with their opponent. So there's a bunch with that, as well as it's going to kind of affect the overall ebb and flow of general combat. A person who kind of has an interaction and has a weapon advantage and a few other advantages now can't continue to just run house on an entire match. They have to proactively keep their armor stack up to stay at that higher armor level. A lot of people have concerns about a fresh spawn will have more armor than a person who's been running around. But when you're sitting there with an enforcer and the other person's running around with a little bit better of a weapon, there's a lot of stuff that falls out of this. So we'll be talking about that more at length. You were going to comment on it?
I mean, yeah, I was just going to say, it doesn't mean in any way that we've now figured out after much deliberation that this is what we want to do. It's basically, let's try this.
Yeah, this is an additional experiment, and it has had a lot of positive effect in a lot of the stuff that we've been iterating in internally. So we kind of want to give this a shot. This will be going out in the next update to kind of run it through everybody and see what everybody's feedback in general is, see if it does improve things, see if there are overall bigger problems. I'm trying to get an earlier test build out ahead of this with a few of the more competitive guys to see if there are any exploits with this new system. Does it horribly break things at a fundamental level, at a super high competitive level of gameplay? Like, want to try and get some of that feedback before we push it to everybody, but this is something that we're going to be trying out, and hopefully it works out. It's been positive so far in some of our playtests.
Everybody has pros and cons to it.
Absolutely.
And ultimately also part of the goal is to just simplify the system.
Yes.
Right, so it's not as like, this, and this, that, and when it interacts in this way, it stacks this way, and then this takes over, and now the rate is
Mikey had a lot of fun figuring out
50 and all this
UT99 armor stacking and how each one had different percent absorption rates, and then it eat through one, and then the percent absorbed that. It was
a bit of a.
This noise happens. This is what.
Well,
happens.
it was interesting because I grew up playing 99, but when it came to the armor system, I never really dug too deep into it. Not like because I come from a Quake background, and it was a little interesting trying to pick through it again, and I was just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just kind of, it was a little confusing at first, but I think the simplicity will help, and I'm curious to do more testing on it, and I really want to see how the dual and more competitive scene adapts with it, because I'm interested in seeing the results.
It definitely shifts things around. Some of the guys were, concerned, this might make things more defensive. Like, I at least saw in some of our tests, like, people who normally would even play a little bit more defensive were willing to try and push out and be a little bit more aggressive just because they had another hit on them instead of taking that rock to the face and immediately getting shut down.
There's certainly discussions going on internally as well about what the ideal time to live should be and how it currently stands for certain weapons and how that plays out one against the other, etc. So we're certainly not all.
And for those that haven't been following on the forums or in some of the chat rooms and stuff like that, we definitely have mentioned that this upcoming update, as you see with the armor system, weapons are also being adjusted. Shock primary damage has gone up. There's travel time, speed, projectiles have been moved around. There's a bunch of adjustments happening with weapons, but in addition to that, we're also going to be trying to push for more analytics as far as weapons and other things go to kind of really nail down the hard data on some of this stuff. Hopefully we can share some of these results, but a lot of that stuff's always skewed in certain ways, but having that data is going to be helpful to also make intelligent decisions about what we should do with armor, health, weapon balance, all that stuff.
It's a crutch, but it's going to inform our decision making.
Absolutely, yeah. So. And this is in addition to the stuff that we kind of already collect. So.
And we have a thread going on the forums right now, speaking of the armor. We would like people to start doing some concepting.
Yeah.
We know we have some stuff in the past, but a lot of the threads are really old, and so the pictures aren't working anymore. They're on old accounts and stuff. So if you can check out the thread, and if you have any ideas for the armor and pickups and stuff like that.
Yep, I've been annoying the team a lot lately, trying to like, hey, we got all this placeholder stuff in here, vials, and you guys had all these concepts. So, like Stacy said, pull all that stuff back together. Let's see what people had as far as ideas, concepts, art,
I know Dan
pickups,
Paz
all
had
that kind
some
of stuff.
and so it would be great to see that stuff come back out again.
Absolutely.
And flag run video too, maybe?
Yep.
Okay.
Steve's going to be having one of those come out. It'll be probably after all the other stuff that we kind of discussed. So look forward to that in maybe a month or two.
I think we should start the countdown. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's start that. Okay, so I didn't get the chance to play a lot of the maps, but I got to see some of the videos that people were posting on social, and some of them were so beautiful. I just want to give a big shout out to one of the prettiest maps that the community member Byron did, and it was Twin Falls, and I just thought it was so pretty. It reminded me of UT 2004 map. There were a lot of other ones. Mosey was then talking to people and everything. But yeah, you guys do beautiful work, and it's really great to see so many things coming together. But these are the guys that know what a good map is, and not just a pretty map. I just walk around and go, oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, so to kind of give some people ideas of the contest, we gave people basically a month to do design, play test it, really refine the map, and this was all a mapping focus on the game mode showdown. So that was also part of our consideration, was not just is this an awesome map that has awesome art and plays really well, but does it hold up specifically for showdown? And for people that don't know, showdown is you have one life when you load in, you have no weapons, you spawn near a weapon, and all the objectives are already spawned in. So you quickly spread out to get all the stuff, come together, fight. You have a bonus health currently, so you can get whittled down from 200 HP, disengage, get health, and then come back together. So it's typically played 3v3, and sometimes we have dual showdown as well, which is one-on-one.
Which we actually haven't really...
We didn't really play test these for dual showdown. We were mainly focusing on 3v3 for all of our current play testing that we did for the judgment of this contest.
Yep. All right, so at number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5.
We have...
EXO.
Yes.
EXO is from Taidu, Ryan. And
let's roll through those screenshots.
Yeah, we
EXO
have a screenshot. We have screenshots of EXO.
So for anybody that didn't check this map out, very cool vibe on this. It did probably one of the more interesting maps because it had a teamwork element that nobody else kind of really experimented with. It led to some really funny, interesting, infuriating interactions. I only say infuriating because I got cooked in that radioactive chamber, but yeah. Yeah,
so the key here really was that, I mean, it's not a complex mechanic by any stretch, but that's also what makes it work, and it actually allowed it to be interesting and fun. Like, it wasn't overthought. It's literally just like teammate holds a button. Oh
yes, this one.
Pressure chamber, basically inverse pressure chamber, opens up. While you're standing on it, you can go grab it, and then you release the button. It'll trap you in there and kill you.
So it had
slowly.
Memories
so somebody can go release you again, which is also kind of cool, right? You don't just instantly die when you actually have a tick. So somebody, if theoretically a teammate comes back, he can let you back out, and we actually had that happen.
Yeah, you guys, it's interesting because you talk about that really nice positive interaction with your teammates. You locked me in there, walked up to the window, and basically taunted in my face while I slowly roasted. So it was
that's your risk
like
for that
used to do to people in DM pressure.
Yeah, I'm not salty at all about it. It's just it was a fun interaction. So I really like that idea.
When you get greedy with that keg of health,
hey man, I was just trying to kill you guys. It was funny because we had a really cool interaction where that button was up and you guys were not coordinating very well. All three people were just piling on the button. You had no idea who was going in there. And Johnny was above and he's like, oh, well, what am I going to do with these 3 rockets I have loaded up? I guess I'll just dump it on all of you guys. I think he took out 2 of the people. One guy went flying. It's
a good idea to try and kind of figure out who's going to go in.
Exactly.
First,
yeah. That's awesome.
Somebody mentioned in chat that this had like a similar Doom theme to it, which is that was one of my favorite things about it. Was one, it was a compact map. So the action was always there. You never really had any downtime. You come around a corner and there's a guy or there's a teammate, and you're constantly moving through this map. And the way it's set up, everything crisscrosses with each other.
Yeah, let's actually just jump in the map real quick too. Have it up and running.
One thing that we were also going to do is maybe give him a few suggestions where he can improve this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk kind of about both art and showdown improvements and stuff.
We looked at everything sort of
so
from
cool.
since we had 2 phases to the whole contest. We looked at everything from both a design and from a visual standpoint, obviously. So we're kind of weighing both of those against one another, and this map really stood out gameplay-wise, which is how it earned its number 5 slot, because we had a ton of fun on this and it played really great. Visually, there's room for improvement here for sure. Like, it's nice that it's simple and clean, but it could just basically be more refined, have some more structure to the map. Currently, it's got that kind of like top-down box cutout look going on, where everything ends at the same height, caps at the same height.
Yep.
We could really go in and kind of like make some more prominent buildings, landmarks.
You can see off in the distance he's kind of started to do some of that.
Yeah,
so
things
remember, we had a 3-month time constraint on that, so that's also likely something that people can consider with that. These were done in kind of a limited time frame, but these people were able to pull off some awesome stuff.
Yep. And there's a ton of runs and dodges and whatnot. And
I loved
cool
all the
stuff in
slope
there.
dodges except for that one that you just saw up there, where it seems it's kind of sideways slope dodge. Not sure how to end that geometry there, and that just doesn't work. It works half the time, and the inconsistency feels really bad. And I don't know if that's entirely on us or the map or what.
Yeah. The weapon layout in here felt pretty good too. One thing that stood out too was that there were 2 stingers in here, which sometimes felt really awful. If you had 2 guys
with our group, I
hosing
can
you down.
imagine that would feel pretty awful.
Well, that's the thing in general we kind of noticed about all these maps, right? Is like double spawns of any weapon, unless it was absolutely necessary to kind of support the 3v3 gameplay in your space, it normally didn't turn out well.
Yeah, double weapons, if carefully chosen, can work, and what type of weapon it is and what map, etc. That can work out. Another thing that's sort of a trend is whether or not people are actually using double spawns on certain weapons, which has not really worked out that great.
We'll
all.
show some examples of that on
is
other maps where what we're talking about with double spawns.
Part of that is the game mode at this point, because it's still work in progress, doesn't really deal with those kind of situations well in existing maps that are specifically built for Showdown. We do have the functionality in there to basically only enable player starts for that mode, and we've really found that avoiding double spawns as much as possible, and I'm sure that'll be echoed by people that have been playing in the wild too, is not really a fun experience, because you can just troll the shit out of people, and you can like, oh, he's going for shock, I'm going to spawn opposite, and then we're going to spam dodge or spam single tap dodge, and whoever gets there first, and it's just not a fun experience.
It's not great because you basically don't want the outcome of which gun a person earns to be decided by who hit single tap dodge on the frame, and so they get a head start on it, right? It's just typically what we've seen that works the best is one spawn for that item or for like a power-up combo. So, I mean, I don't think a lot of people did this, but Enforcer with an amp spawn and some other stuff like that sometimes is an acceptable path as well.
Right.
But once you get into the territory of 2 spawns exact same identical distance away from a shock rifle, it turns into not fun territory.
To just cross back completely opposite to the visual side of things, I think he just ran out of time too with a lot of these, because he has some really cool ideas in here, and he's doing some interesting things in little pockets, but just needs to be polished up. I think if you were to go back and revisit this and just put some more love in it visually, like, it could go places, because it's again really fun to play. It's really fast, and it works great for Team Showdown. It's just a overall really fun map. Just needs a little bit more love in the visual department. So,
Awesome.
again, awesome job, man.
Yep.
Well deserved.
Also, we have
who's
to
that again, Stacey?
That was Tidu, or I'm not sure how to pronounce his name.
Tidu. Speaking of
congratulations.
yes,
nice job
congratulations. Very nice job. It was nice to hear the guys laughing when they were playing this one. Speaking of not knowing how to pronounce names, Sprony
Van Johnson from Mapcore.
From Mapcore. Big shout out to him for all his hard work on this.
Yes, thank you so much. You've saved us a ton of time, and you've made this process
He's
be
been super
awesome.
helpful.
So.
This has been really difficult for us for being such a small team. Thanks, Chris K.
Yes.
for volunteers.
We're
going to print out a Chris K face, but
he's traveling around the world looking at volcanoes right now.
He made the map CTF volcano. Now he's exploring like real volcanoes,
which
is exactly how he should mesh that map for us, right, Chris? I look forward to that.
But that's the cool thing. He's actually obsessed with volcanoes.
Yeah, he really is.
He made CTF volcanoes.
So it's going to be
it's
going to be even greater when he's done after he gets back from this trip. But Sprony, thank you so much for all the help that you did, because we were struggling trying to have the time to get through these.
So we
have
what's coming up after or what is it before 5?
Number 4 we have Vacant, And this, oh, this is NATO.
NATO with number
Yeah.
4.
NATO.
Vacant was a
So
is
this
an
was
awesome
another,
map.
yeah, this is another one that I was sharing on social media, and people were like losing their mind. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this looks so great!" And NATO is no stranger
Stranger,
to
yeah.
map design,
Yeah,
level design.
he's a little bit experienced in that area.
Yeah, he's been really been doing some awesome stuff.
And this one's really awesome. This is a really nice map.
Yeah, definitely awesome work using the outpost meshes. Definitely one of the better meshing overall as far as
Yes.
the maps go. Definitely, I had our artists take a look at some of these, and they very much like what you did with the outpost assets here. So
Yep. Yeah.
There's cool little spots here and there with just interesting mesh ideas of how to use those things and like put them into dense little clusters, and it works really well to do that.
The overgrowth aspect was really nice too, like in
Yeah.
the lower areas where the water was,
Yep.
seeing the grass like kind of encroach.
yeah.
Yeah,
Using the
outpost
foliage in there
assets.
was awesome. I mean, biggest visual feedback, at least overall, from us was that it kind of tonally all blended together. And part of this is Outpost, right? Because it's got that wide aesthetic to it. But
By the
we could
way,
still
real quick, we have a lot of feedback for you here, NATO, and it's just because this map I feel like it's so close to being amazing for Showdown. So we might be brutal in some spaces, but it's just because of how close you actually are
To the
it's-
project, yes.
Yeah, and we want you to be able to just kill it with this. So me and Sid both.
yeah, we're
have
being
to-
nitpicky here.
Yeah,
so.
we're being very nitpicky. So take it as it is.
Yep. So, anyways, what I was gonna say is the biggest thing that stood out to us was really just trying to break up that wide floor a little bit more across the entire space. That turned a little even, so it was hard to separate spaces here and there. Most of all, really, in terms of like Showdown,
Mm-hmm.
the map just felt ginormous to us.
Clint, can you
Oh,
actually
this
pull
is
up
the one that was too
the
big,
map
right?
for us on this one
Yeah,
while we're talking
we'll
about
jump
it?
in the map now and
Hold
talk about
on
it.
1 second. We're going to pull up the overhead
Oh, the
map
overhead
here on the
map.
screen
Yes,
for
and
everybody.
Clint is with us today.
One thing we wanted to talk about real quick was this was an example kind of you want to talk a little bit more, I guess? Sid?
Well, basically, we've really felt in our playtesting that you could probably take out a third of the volume of the map and focus your efforts on something a little bit more tight,
Mhm.
and it would be that much better for it. Just because you don't have that much room to escape, you don't have that many kind of noodly chases going on. You can just disengage too easily and be gone, and then do the whole ring around the rosy forever, and it would really allow you to focus your visual density and detail in a few more focus areas, and also focus your gameplay space.
It also would allow him to get rid of a lot of the double spawns.
Yep,
and
double spawns, double weapons could be removed, etc. So yeah, I think if this map were tighter, it would be really amazing.
Yep.
It's just that last little bit to really push it over the edge. Like, let's just jump into and run around real
Yeah,
quick.
cool. Let's
right
go
now.
over to the game. And we had
So
a
there's-
lot of fun on this map, but yeah, it's kind of like what you said, where since we didn't have the really hardcore identified like landmarks in any way, it
Yeah.
did feel like
You have
people
kind
would
of-
stop moving to try and identify what part of the map someone would actually occupy, and then once you'd get them, it was just come to me as
Yeah.
opposed to X landmark. So
And like, there's really cool ideas in here for all this stuff, and this sort of is like, it feels like the central axis running through the map here, and you have this cool setup going on, and it's kind of symmetrical with asymmetric elements on the side, etc. But then it sort of continues that same thing over, so the map kind of doesn't really decide what its main hub area is. It kind of has two almost, and that was kind of part of what really just spread it out and pulled it out a little bit too much for us while we were playing it.
But I mean,
The
to
meshing
mention
is
something
amazing, isn't it?
absolutely. So I see the one thing that you commented on EXO, I'd like to point out about this though, is like the top of the map and how you said that EXO kind of had that flat cutoff. Do you want to kind of show a little bit about how NATO has broken up some of the verticality here, or
Yep,
at
yep.
least?
So just having central structures that are kind of landmarky like that versus like this little bit up there,
Yeah.
you know, and how that nestles in and conforms, like it's just really well done.
Landmark ETM.
And that would be more recognizable across the map again if it just, decided to remove a bit of it, focus more on just a smaller part of the map. And you could even also just go in and play with a little bit more color identifiers in some of these areas too, because you're kind of keeping that consistent wide throughout the entire thing. Or even also with the overgrown, it's kind of nice that it's focused on the bottom floor. But again, this is kind of an opportunity to say, okay, well, this third or quarter of the map has has some swampy areas going on, it has some water leakage. This is the overgrown section. This
That
is how
kind of
you
explains it, yeah.
route and identify yourself in that space. Like, it would be nice to just utilize that as a landmarking thing, as opposed to just a evenly spread visual element across the entire thing, because it affords nice detail. It breaks up little corners and stuff like that, so it's well
Nice
used
color pop.
as
Yeah.
this sort of thing where you just kind of hide the harsh intersections between walls and floors, and it really works great for that. It's just too evenly distributed, and it would just have that much more bang and pop if it were used in a very focused area again. So yeah, man, I think this could easily be a real standout map with just a little bit more love and polish and focus put in, and really exciting to see where this is going to go.
Yeah, this was really impressive, and we all were really impressed by this. This is just,
There's a lot of excitement about
everyone
this
is
one.
saying fantastic meshwork is just because it's very awesome.
Yeah, he did a great job. I know he spent a lot of hours on this one
Yep,
too.
and he made a few custom things here and there too to fill in gaps, and the set can be hard to work with, but he did an excellent job of just getting like some clean surfaces out here, and then break them up with little clusters of detail, and not take it all over the place. So it's really nice. Yeah.
To
Good
kinda-
job.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, please.
I was, to comment like on the size, there was one thing that I did notice when we played through it quite a bit that I actually liked at some parts was, granted the size of the map is a little large, but the opportunities of chasing and hunting were really, really cool. And I noticed it a lot. Like there were times where I was chasing you, Zach, and I was seeing you in those grates trying to shoot through the floor, and you kept going, and I kept trying to find a way to get up to you. It was really interesting, kind of, now you see me, now you don't, and there's like this barrier between us, but I can still kind of engage you.
Yep.
That was one of my favorite parts about this map. Was
It works
being
when
able
you
to
kind
do
of
that.
like always at least have, and when you can try and read the intent of somebody running away from you, and then you kind of have to pick and choose which way am I going to try and cut him off. Is it going to help me or him?
Yeah.
And when that works, it's awesome. As soon as you can disengage and you could potentially go in 4 or 5 different directions, then it starts falling apart a little bit, because unless you happen to catch a glimpse of somebody on your peripheral, then it just turns a little bit more into the
And
like
with all of
worst
us,
of Waldo sort of thing. But
this was also the build that was before we nerfed slide a little bit. With all of us kind of abusing all the mechanics, we were able to quickly disengage and kind of hide in one of the coves of this map.
Yeah.
Cool, but
Yeah,
awesome
man.
job, man.
Amazing job.
NATO! Woohoo! Nice job, NATO. So now we're down to the top 3.
Top 3
Woo!
now. Did you want to? I don't know if we really touched base on this, but before we move into the top 3, to build up more attention,
hype!
did you want to talk a little bit about what the prizes were for this contest?
Oh, yeah.
And show some of that stuff off.
Some really great prizes.
Yeah.
So, money.
There's money.
Money's always good.
What?
So the first prize is $1,650. That's for the top
Awesome.
prize. Yeah. I could use that right now. I'm going on vacation soon. So
Stacy's gonna run
Me
away with
too.
the Mapcore money.
maybe.
No.
$850 second prize, and all the winners are going to get some swag, some cool swag. $850 is for the second prize, and for third place is going to be $500.
Awesome.
Which is still nothing to sneeze at. Everybody gets swag. Swag.
What kind of swag are we talking?
We're talking swag.
Swag on swag on swag?
Are you prepared?
This is not
got
all
it.
that's going to be in these bags. We always throw
They
in
get a
some cool
brown
stuff.
paper bag. Congratulations,
There you go.
everyone.
The end. Yeah, so one of the cool little things about having the key to the swag closet is there's some older things in there that people who are old-time UT fans that will appreciate. We have some of the older little swag items that we used to give out, back when zero-timed spectacle was a thing. Jeff Morris memories.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be some other cool things in here, but we're going to give you guys a UT shirt. So we're going to have to get sizes from you guys, the winners. We have UT keychain.
And that's got like the pre-alpha
This is the-
season etched
Yes,
on the
it
back.
does.
It's kind of
Oh, yeah.
cool
That one is
stuff.
Yeah,
sweet.
it's very cool. We have the pre-alpha on the stuff on the back, which you can't see. I'll post pictures of this when I do the story about that.
We've got a fantastic video from Clint too, don't we? Somewhere.
Yeah, that's an amazing video. Maybe we'll play that at the end if he can find it. But we have our little tiny UT mouse pad that you can only use for work. You can't use for unless you're super pro.
It's not your QCK plus.
No, definitely not. and stickers and refrigerator magnets and all kinds
Awesome.
of all kinds of cool UT stuff. So we'll be getting in touch with the winners to get the sizes and find out what shirt they want. If you guys want to know in advance, if you just go to the UT store at epicgamestore.com, you can check and see which shirt you want under the UT stuff. So
Yep.
cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Number 3.
What do we have for number 3?
What we have for
Who is it?
Number 3. I'm on the wrong page. Oh, this one. Am I going to say this wrong? Batrankus?
I don't know, but I love it. Batrankus Bastion.
And this one was done by Oscar. His nickname is G-Lector.
G-Lector.
Glector is what I thought it was, but before, but I guess it's not. And so it's Batrankus Bastion.
Awesome. Congrats on number 3.
Number 3, $500.
Yep.
USD.
So rolling through these screenshots, we had
This is pretty.
we had a fun playtest on this. The initial playtest was we all hate this map, and Stu basically almost walked out of the playtest.
So to be fair, so one other aspect that we have in the build that we were playing, there's also a bug with, you get turned around and players start sometimes.
Yes.
So sometimes that meant if you weren't actually paying attention to it and you just held forward while you were spawning, you just run straight off the map and fall to your death.
Yeah, so
that was the polarizing aspect of this map, really, was that you could die quite easily if you weren't paying attention where you were
yeah, it was
running.
It was definitely polarizing. That area right now that you guys are seeing on the screenshot, very sick wall run around. You got a very cool dodge out to that jump pad or on the other side there. But as you can see, the reoccurring theme here at the bottom.
There's a lot of pain.
Tons of pain and death pits, lots of punji sticks and/or just falling off the outside of the map. What's cool is the central area, though, in the dead center had a very cool use of Z.
Actually, to pull back though, on what you're saying. So we felt that this map, from a gameplay design standpoint, actually was one of the really most focused on showdown kind of maps. Like this, you could really tell had cool, interesting routes thought out. That central element, being able to cut through there with the jump boots, dodge across, almost fall to your death, jump back up, grab you damage. That
really unique.
It had some really cool elements like that that made it stand out as being purposefully designed for the mode, and it worked really well. The verticality is, of course, also super intense. That's again sort of a polarizing thing. Some people really love that and know how to deal with it well. For other people, it's a little too much. So there's a few of those things that are like, you gain some interest and some specialness by going often in a very particular direction, which makes it also more divisive and polarizing. But you buy into that, and that's okay. That's great, because it means for that certain crowd that really enjoys the stuff, it's going to play even better and going to be more enjoyable. It's just not going to be that approachable for somebody who is not as pro at the game, or it's just
that's a great shot.
Yeah, I love this. Like it reminded me of Goose. Does anybody remember Damn Goose? That was a community.
Yeah, let's look at the map,
liked.
the mini map for this one real quick as well, just to show like that central element. Another thing I actually really liked about the gameplay design of this as well was that instead of picking 3 locations for the overcharge, you picked one central location that was predictable.
Yep.
When the entire map sort of revolved around that, and that made it a cool central element to try and race towards.
Yeah, typically the way that works for people who aren't really familiar with it is the overcharge power-up spawns in later into the gameplay, basically kind of as a forcer of conflict resolution. It gives you additional run speed. It gives you a ping on the in-world showing you where any opponents remain. It gives you ammo for all your remaining weapons, and it also, I believe, gives you an additional 100 health. The whole catch with it is if you can't exterminate all of your opponents within, I think it's 30 seconds.
It's 30 right now.
You die. It's basically you're hitting that button, you're powering up, and you got to make a run for it. It's a last ditch effort.
Goalie.
Exactly. Yep.
Let's jump into the actual in-game map real quick as well.
I think one of my favorite parts about this map, aside from the pain and suffering that it caused, was in the lower region. Where the punji pits are. There's this area with U damage where if you have the jump boots, you get like this zero gravity feeling of being able to navigate across the map, like going under things.
Again, too, this is an awesome, really like cool, strong visual element carried through here, all the way down to the belt.
Screenshots on this one.
Mirrored over across here as well.
Yeah.
So I would say what ultimately probably kept this map from climbing a little bit higher was the pits of death and the kind of multitude of them. We felt really that some of those areas it wasn't really that necessary to be that hardcore about just having slopes that you can accidentally run off or walk off, or like doing these kind of little trims here and there is great on the outer perimeters. The kind of inner areas here where you have, you know, big central pits that are around contested areas, that's cool. That worked well. Just we didn't really feel it was necessary to have a lot of this kind of stuff where there's no reason why somebody should be able to get knocked off here necessarily.
He kind of established a visual language with the red paint that it's going to be a dangerous area for you to walk off, but it is not really that noticeable, especially in hectic gameplay with stuff going off. Like, and again, you had mentioned basically during the playtest that if they were more focused pits of death and or around certain objectives and very noted and you can tell what's happening there, it wouldn't be as bad. Or if some of them at least were, you fall into, you know, some, we'll talk about it later, some other maps used water as a device of, well, you're a huge audio queue now and you're moving super slow. Sorry about that. You know, it puts you in a disadvantaged state as opposed to just outright murdering you.
Right, exactly. Again, this is that awesome jump through the middle here where you can wall dodge through there. Like, there's just cool elements like that. Spawns in this map felt a little, it almost felt like there were too many spawns and they weren't focused on the weapons that well. So there was some trolling opportunity there as well. In terms of size, we initially really felt like this map was also a little bit too sprawling and it just kind of was too easy to disengage. Part of that was learning the map.
Yep.
In terms of actually landmarking in here, it was sometimes really hard to get your bearing to. Though granted, it's also a thing of time, but we almost kind of felt like this map could benefit from being reduced in size a little bit too here and there, and just focusing the experience a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we were talking a little bit about
very
like
interconnected.
The biospawn,
so many different ways,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I really enjoyed it from the get-go. I wasn't, you know, Stu had a hard time with the bits of that.
Yeah, we
got some frustration there.
Stu.
Yeah, but after we had our short counseling sessions, and you know, we looked at the map a little bit more and reviewed it kind of with the free cam and stuff. We came back, revisited it, and it climbed up to number 3 as you guys have seen now. So.
Yep.
We need that conflict resolution pick up in real life.
I know.
In the war room.
Also, if I, you know, for this map, also like another piece of feedback just visually would be to kind of try and refine some areas in there. It's got a very nice and simple, clean look to it. A lot of it looks very chunky and very just kind of like big and trimmy and a little old school in that sense.
What are some ways that you avoid that, or that you kind of are mindful of that as you work? Is there any tricks or anything that you do while you're doing that kind of stuff?
I mean, it would help to just like break up some of those chunky big shapes. Like a lot of the ramps are actually, like, we tried to stay basically in something outside of 45 degrees, where we just do 2/1 sort of, you know, whatever that's in degrees, 22 point blah blah blah, something.
You guys also throw a lot of the actual hunched over in idle stance guys, not just the T-pose guys, but like the guy in the idle stance around to kind of reinforce, like, is this the scale that I actually want this area to look like?
Scale in this game is a touchy subject anyways, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Just because of our movement speed, etc. And you're never going to have real world scale in a UT map. That's just not a you know, thing that is fun to really play in, etc. But
it doesn't support the movement, like you said. Yeah.
Basically, if some of this was just finessed a little bit more and some more details here and there, like looking at what the artists did with New Titan Pass as inspiration for adding some of those, you know, little mud piles here and there, kind of smoothing out those transitions between ground and wall here and there, just adding a little bit more interest without over busying it. Like, I feel like there could be some extra additional love spent here and kind of polish it up a little bit, maybe get the overall diffuse tone a little bit more even out, so there's not that much different, so many different colors kind of popping here and there and conflicting a little bit. That map could also really go places and you know,
So
take some of the frustrations out, make things a little bit more streamlined, give the visuals some more love, and you'd have a really great map. It also the bones are all there. Like, it's got an awesome, you know,
and speaking of bones,
basis to go from.
Throw a skeleton down in the death pit, and it can be in memory of Stu.
We sacrificed.
Yeah, I mentioned that too. That there needed to be some bones down there.
Oh, you're teasing me.
Oh,
there
Wow.
he is.
Awesome.
Awesome work, man.
Yay!
Congratulations on
Yeah,
number
it's really
3.
Fyaru, one of our community guys, he's really excited to play this one.
Yeah, it's an awesome map.
So are we ever gonna put these anywhere where people can play?
I see that in the chat. People are wondering what is Epic going to do about this stuff. So we're going to be reaching out kind of directly to the map makers for a few of these maps and kind of figure out what the long-term plan is. We'd ideally like to try and have some sort of plan where we can either get these on the marketplace or get these in the actual full build. So just stay tuned for that. I'm sure you guys will see something on social about
putting
this.
our feelers out.
Yes.
And things will happen if they are meant to happen. So we'll see.
So hopefully that answers some of those questions in chat for you guys. So we've got the
I'm excited.
the last top 2 remaining.
I'm excited for this.
What is number 2 going to be? What is it? You're having too much fun with this.
Croft. It's in bed. Woo!
Congratulations, man. This map was awesome. I had
Yeah.
a ton of fun on this.
This is beautiful.
This one, in my opinion, was probably, the most thought out showdown map. In my opinion, and let me just reiterate that one more time. My opinion, yeah, it's one of those things that like his crossover with the 2 jump pads onto a central area for belt, and then the other corners of the map they each get a weapon and jump boots, and they can kind of come in engaging with hit scan, and they've got these gribbly bits underneath that kind of has the Facing Worlds vibe of melding brick and stone with some of the technological pieces and like a furnace underneath. This map played awesome. I loved it.
Why aren't you an author?
Because I
those
can't write.
words
I
that
can't
just came out of
spell.
his mouth,
I've got
man.
the Joe Wilcox
Zachary's
spelling
very
issue.
well spoken today.
Oh, whatever, man.
You need to get a ghostwriter.
I will agree with you that one of my favorite things about this map was that fusion of sci-fi and old, like taking the chill assets and kind of mixing in those outposts, or I think they were outpost assets.
Yep.
They kind of just merging them together. It just, I don't know, something about it was just really different than what we're used to seeing.
Well, and he's got this cool sense of scale that he's playing with in the overall art world. Like you'll see when we cut to the gameplay here in a little bit, but the actual map you're playing on is kind of almost. It feels like a shantytown village with. They got a little nice stone and stuff, but right above it's like this massive, overarching, towering bridge. So it's like you feel that you're a part of a much bigger world in the map. So
yeah, it looks like it belongs in like a big open world.
Let's look at the layout real quick too.
And the screenshots are gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful, but they don't even do justice to what you really see when you're playing.
Yep. Let's jump over to the. You wanted to take a look at the layout there, Sid. The map.
There you go.
Yep.
So that's what I was talking about. To cut you off, is the jump pad was in the top left and bottom right, and then you kind of make that decision about picking up Stinger and Rocket really quickly, hitting the jump pad, and then coming to that central area where the belt is, and then on the top right and lower left, you see Shock and Snipe pick up boots, and then they get to come flying into the
also
engagement.
directly opposite. So, it's really well done in how he took something super symmetrical and hit it really well.
Yep.
And interconnected it in such a fashion that it doesn't seem like that at all when you're playing it, but from a timing and from a opposing weapon serve standpoint, it works out really well. Like what you just pointed out, boots, sniper, boots, shock, that whole dynamic worked really well.
And you've also kind of got armor split as well, right? Like helm, thigh pads is on the right, chest is on the left, so there's still a lot of that symmetrical kind of gameplay taking place there.
Thing we probably disliked the most gameplay-wise was the double spawns.
Yep.
On this, we basically just started playing with on rules.
Yep. Well,
or more or less honor.
Are you gonna admit to what you did, Sid? Is that what this is?
Yeah, I did it too.
Oh,
Once.
whatever. Both of you guys were terrible.
Everybody does it once.
I'm like, okay, honor rules. Don't take the double spawn since we've already explicitly discussed that this is not fun. We don't really like the gameplay ramifications. So let's play it how we'll eventually have code support for. And then go from there. So I'm picking shock spawn once, and what do you see but Sydney light up right next to me? He's like, I'm not taking the gun, bro. He dodges off, gets boots, and just disappears into the sky. And I'm just like, fantastic. Well, I'm glad that honor rules worked here.
Sometimes you have to get a little.
Sorry. What was that, Mikey?
Yes,
It's like sometimes you got to get a little aggressive, and I did it to Will a few times.
We all deserve it.
Let's jump into the map itself.
Yeah, let's fly here. I know you were looking at a little bit of that sense of scale I was talking about with that giant, awesome bridge overhead.
similar to Bedrank, is kind of has a little bit of a Dark Soulsy vibe going on with that gigantic bridge slash whatever aqueduct structure that it could be up there. This is the that location we were just talking about with the boots.
Slow
Right
down a
next to
little bit.
the-
You're gonna make people throw up.
I'm gonna try my best.
Oh God.
One other thing that was really nice is have that separation between high ground and low ground. Again, the jump pads really play into that along with the boots, but you basically have boots as a way to fight your way up, and then you have jump pads as the alternative to try and get up there and contest. And it worked really well to have this kind of the place to be to try and spread out, try and hunt people down. If you're trying to look for somebody, you poke your head up here, but it's risky to do if you're low a little bit. Most of the health was kind of on the bottom areas. There's still health up here as well in a few spots, but there actually be one thing that might be interesting to try and refine as well is like actually just double in on all that and say, you know, sure, the belt is sitting up here, this is high ground, maybe there's a few vials, but all 25s, etc., are tucked down underneath somewhere, so you actually have to give up that high ground if you want to go
Yeah,
heal up.
we ended up, my team, one of the times we played this, we kind of got rocked by you guys, and one of the things that kind of fell out of that, other than us just getting outplayed, was once the top area was kind of controlled, it really felt like it was just desperate to try and get any sort of hold of the map. Like, once you had 2 or 3 people up there and they had all the weapons and power-ups and stuff, you really just couldn't do much. If you tried to hide down low, if you didn't have a flak or a rocket, you couldn't do anything about it. So I don't know if that ended up being imbalanced teams or just how some of the stuff unfolded, but yeah, it would be kind of cool to try and force or encourage people to come down low. Maybe if the overcharge was explicitly placed inside of the buildings here, as opposed to right now, I think it's kind of on some ramps on the left over here.
I don't actually have a solid memory of where it's at from playing it right now.
To the left over here.
Sid, as a level designer, when you're thinking about, you know, gameplay and stuff like that, do you try to go for making areas where people can actually hold in deathmatch, where they can, you know?
It depends on the style map. I mean, if you're trying to, like, for Showdown specifically, like, it can work out really well, and especially because initially Showdown sort of came out of a lot of the maps that were built for TDM started playing really well, and those maps generally are shelled around trying to control power-ups and holding rooms and locations, or trying to, you know, have points of attack, forced entry, sort of like breach situations of trying to flood out a room and time out the item and steal it kind of scenarios. So
if somebody's holding the top and they're just dominating, is there any way to make it so that the people who aren't in that area can?
Well, that's what we were just talking about with the jump boots and the jump pads. You know, it's your way to try and get up there and poke and assault. You can also make the slow crawl up through the inside, which is more protected.
Which probably be more protected and safe.
Yeah, the other thing
but
he
it's
mentioned
going to take
was
you more time to do that.
Trying to move around some of the health to kind of force people that might have gotten poked to come down, or like, and then the overcharge. So just forcing mechanisms to make people want to poke their heads in down there.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I really liked about this map, was that you have this outer ring of movement, and then you have like this inner cluster where it's just very chaotic. There's a lot of crisscrossing going on. So like, I know a couple of matches, there was a time that I did it, and I know you did it, Sid, where you had the jump boots and a sniper, and you were like staying on the outskirt, trying to find somebody, and you were just using the movement of the map to navigate all the way to the top, and it flows beautifully. It feels perfect in that sense. My only quirk with this map was that in the central area near the base, the area looks very similar going in all 4 directions, so you can get kind of turned around. And that happened to me a few times, but outside of that, like, the map was really
I know one of the other complaints you had, I don't know if it was some of the settings or adjustments we had on the hardware that we were using, but you were talking a lot about when you guys did take the outside top and owned it, you guys had some issues with brightness in terms of crosshair and some of the other stuff.
Which that's
part of it's the crosshair that
fault,
Mikey was using,
and not so much the map's fault, maybe. It's
I'll blame the crosshair. That's fair.
Yeah. But anyways, this map is pretty damn sweet.
Super solid, man.
So,
awesome work on this.
Go to the flag spawn really quick.
Oh,
that's one of my favorite spots on this map. I just love how it's just laid out.
Yeah, that's
the lighting.
It's very cool visual too. This is definitely. We had an awesome landmark.
Like
for this is the
you're in a
furnace
modern.
room. And,
Yep.
Yeah. The jump pad's kind of a little difficult to see, but you've got the decals there to kind of call it out.
The elevator.
The lift, whatever.
Yes.
What did I say?
You
Jump
gotta
pad?
keep-
Yeah. I don't know.
Jeez.
Looking for the wrong thing, I guess.
Need more coffee. But cool, awesome job, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Super awesome.
Absolutely beautiful. So we are.
Bam!
We're
Explosion.
down to number 1.
We are down to number 1.
So
The first.
before we say anything about both, I would say the top 2 we had a bunch of back and forth.
Yes.
There
that
was
was
a
a hard
fight.
decision.
Some people left bloodied and bruised, but
Yep.
That's how we do things in UT. though.
exactly. We dueled for it, and then
So one of the comments, Andrea, our QA girl, she sent over a thing about the maps, and the first comment as a hint was, the name sound kind of looks like a bug.
are we loading the right map, guys? What's going on? Is there a problem with it? Oh no. Oh, that's just the name.
That's the name.
Ah, I see.
So there's your big hint right there.
Yeah.
Somebody out there knows exactly that he's about to win.
Yeah.
So, this map number 1, the big winner is
Drum roll.
is Unsaved.
Awesome.
And Unsaved was done by yeah. Here's another one.
How do you say it? What's that, Stacy?
Hershey
Which one?
Hershey
Hershey
Kisses. There we go.
Here,
That's it.
here's
I know.
Serge. Not
What's
for me
his,
to
what's
say
his real
either.
name?
His real name is Matthew.
Matthew.
There you go. That works.
Great work
I
on
got
this,
that
Matthew.
one. So this was the big winner. I'd say big winner, knowing that you guys struggled trying to decide between this and 1 and 2, but this is.
Yep.
This just came down
Amazing.
to a matter of meshing art, overall gameplay.
Yep.
It ultimately just, it was a hard decision between the 1 and 2, like Sid said, but he pulled out just barely
It's
ahead on this.
Very tight. I personally felt this had that little edge on polish on it.
Yep.
He told me I can't take his money.
Uh-oh.
No can do.
Okay.
Like this just looked really, really well and professionally done. All the areas are super sweet looking. He's done an awesome job using the Outpost assets to come up with some cool stuff.
Very UT
Lots of attention to
vibe
detail.
to it.
Super UT vibe. That was
All the comment areas are super fun. Again, it's kind of. I remember when we started seeing shells from him pop up in the forums, we're kind of like, oh, this looks like a map Spilinski would make. Like it has that awesome, cool, tight feel to it with
Yep.
Yep.
using symmetrical elements in an asymmetrical way and kind of building rooms out of that. It just looks very professional overall. It has a very, hey, this guy's doing this for a living kind of vibe to it. Like this is awesome. So we're all really excited about it.
I love the close quarter nature of this map, and one of my favorite things about this map was the contention for the shield belt. Like you have this shield belt on a podium that you could get from the ground if you kind of work your way up it, but you can also come in from like 3 or 4 different directions from the different levels. And like I remember every round, there would be like this cluster of 2 or 3 people trying to fight for that shield belt. And sometimes I would be jumping up on that pillar, and then somebody would drop down above me and grab the shield belt. Usually you,
If
Zach.
I got the path I wanted, I normally came flying through the air, dodging with a link gun and lit up with an amp already, trying to snatch that from a few
Yeah,
people.
it's a little exploitable sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you could get a really good run on that. I
guess
I still argue that you guys, when you actually watched me do it once, I got 2 people who turned insta-jibbed me after I basically had a belt and 200 health. So you guys like had loaded rockets and flak and everything. So it boiled down to teamwork in some places, but we definitely had feedback about certain locations on the map that might have needed to have either weapon adjustments or spawn adjustments.
I think the overall notion really was that weapon layout and spawn layout could need some tweaking and some adjustment and refinement, and just need more actual play testing and kind of figure out what works and what doesn't, because some of them really left you strung out and others kind of loaded you up in a really favorable way. So going through all the spawns and kind of really thinking through and testing out all the different routes that you get out of the spawn and where that puts you against somebody else, etc., like would be really beneficial for polishing this up a little bit more.
The other thing too, before we go into actual gameplay here, if we can pull up the map too, since we commented on some of the weapon spawns and power-up spawns, the biggest thing that I remember us talking about, again, it's kind of sometimes you're running into those dual spawn situations around Stinger. Otherwise, it was stuff like the spawn on the far left of the map. We think the intention was that you're supposed to kind of spawn, get boots, and then there was a kind of almost a secret path to get keg.
Sneaky keg,
Yeah, the sneaky keg route, and then you would get that and then hopefully try and pick up another weapon. But it wasn't a really reliable route, and it feels like that space is kind of being underutilized for how notable the landmarks are in that area and how much space it actually takes up on the map.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we can jump over into the actual gameplay here. Looks like you're going to have a bot joining you.
Oh, hello. What are you doing here?
What is he doing here? So you said this is a Spelunky vibe, which it is. What was Spelunky's last map that people may know?
Well, Spelunky actually made the Shelfer Outpost
Yes,
initially.
he did.
So if you guys have played Outpost 23, you have played on a Dave map. He's got a few others in there.
Yeah, there's a few others in there that people play.
So another thing that's really nice in here is just the overall use of color, and he kind of, it's still got that
The
super
lighting's
clean
good in that
outpost
one.
look to it, but it's got a little bit more lighting contrast going on as well when separating some of the different areas here.
Yeah, I really like that.
That area down
You
low.
get
Oh,
that
yeah.
that alternation between warm and cool to kind of break out some of those planes a little bit more. If you wanted to be nitpicky about this, you could kind of apply the same sort of feedback in terms of you could use a little bit more color coding here and there to maybe identify some areas a little bit more strongly.
Yeah, he ended up using. It seems like he ended up trying to do more of the landmarky, like distinct shaped geometry in areas. But if those also had colors or large decals to kind of back up that area,
regardless, it makes it a little bit difficult to call out sometimes. Like
Yep.
just like, I'm at the
black room is all we end up.
looking
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
like, which lots of really cool meshing. It's just hard to really put a name on it sometimes. I also really like this area. It's just cool shapes going on.
Yeah, I love
the boots up here are in an interesting spot. Like
Cool little slope dodge.
this is almost like, I don't know, like if spawns were tweaked a little bit and you had maybe even an actual like armor or other type of power up here, that would also be a really cool contestable location.
Yeah.
Because it's such a kind of tucked out of your main way sort of area that I don't know, that might work well. Bio was something that, at least in our playtest, people tended to kind of ignore
You
a
wrecked
lot,
me with it at
actually.
least once or twice.
So that was
but-
usually my go-to spot to try and like, hey, all the weapons are gone. Crap, what am I going to do? Okay, well, bio is still there. I can use that. So it actually worked well from that standpoint, tucked away in this little corner. But yeah, I mean, I can gush about the meshing, really, I guess. It's just like I really, really, really love the way this map looks, and it's got a super nice, clean look to it. It's super, super well done.
It's got a vibe going outside. If you look outside the windows, you're actually on like
Floating
some
above.
sort of a asteroid base floating in this installation.
Yep.
You can go to the kind of central area and then look up and then realize that you're in this you're in this facility nestled inside of a crater somewhere.
There's a few areas here and there where you can see like some of the BSP still poking out a little bit too prominently, and I'm not sure if that was a stylistic choice or just kind of also like a time constraint sort of thing. Those would be nitpicky things, really, to poke out. Like you get some of those sharp corners here and there, but it doesn't diminish the overall impact really of the rest of the work. Like it's just
One other really nitpicky thing that we commented on is behind you right now, down to the right. Walk into that for me, if you don't mind. No, to your left. Just go
Right or
right.
left?
right.
Your other right.
Where was the water you guys were
Right
talking
over
about,
there.
Mikey?
this one here. Yeah, so there's this little water pit going on with the jump pad that gives you access to the U damage, and you have to actually like make your way over here to the teleporter to try
So
and get back
it
out.
actually kind of damages you, and there wasn't really any sort of visual cue that you were going to start taking damage. It doesn't really look like goo, like people are familiar with from deck.
Yeah.
So there is no like established game
bite
language
is like
there.
coolant of some sort, but
Yep.
it'd be cool if there was at least like a little electric effect going on.
Yeah,
or
just
something.
have some sort of gameplay indication that if I go down here, that's why I'm getting hurt. I'm not drowning immediately, or like it was a
Yeah.
confusing thing for some people at
Yeah, it's
first.
just really nice use of all the assets here, using that elevator shaft to kind
Yep.
of conform over here, probably using the spine or the skew. I don't know. I don't think we have this by default. Super interconnected, lots of different levels going on. It plays super fast. It is a tighter map on the overall spectrum of maps, I think.
He's got
It's got more of that 99 vibe going on in that regard.
He definitely capitalized on a lot of these little cubbies like you see to your right, where you've got a nice little slope dodge to get out with, or there's only ammo you can
Ammo
hide.
cubby.
Straight ahead on your left here, there's a corridor just to slide underneath right there on the left.
this thing here, yeah.
So he's also done a really good job of purposely like exploiting a lot of the cool movements that exist in
Sneaky
UT.
keg is up here somewhere, I think.
Yeah, that's the
Yep.
sneaky keg up there.
Oh yeah, that was the one that nobody found until we saw.
We saw
was
what
it
Stu doing it on Spectate.
I think it was me versus him, and then I was chasing this guy around. I'm like, okay, I got this. And then he boots up into the sky, goes through a little cubby hole, and then I see a keg sitting there. I'm like, oh god, that's where that's been the entire time.
This is also an area I really enjoy. Just like this right here is super well done. I love the way he's used those meshes here and just kind of build structures out of them. It's just
you can stand on all that stuff too. It's really awesome collision work. It's
shortcut over here.
Yeah, the collision in this is really good.
There's some interesting slope dodges you can do as well to get into this cubby, like things that you can discover over time. Like it's just very well thought out.
That's the above the visual polish. It's considering it only needs a few slight adjustments to kind of really take it to that next level on the gameplay side. Like I love the fact that there is all those awesome moves that exist in here for these expert players to take advantage of. Like new people can still get around and completely function in this map, but it does have that extra element of all the slope dodges, slides, like all these awesome dodge lines.
Size was also spot on. Like it was just big enough to have enough room to maneuver, but also tight enough that you had constant action going. You could chase each other without really spending too much time noodling around. It was just
You've got a jump boot charge. Lynx has asked us to show the sneaky keg.
Oh, the sneaky keg, if I can find it again now.
I think it is.
I'm going to turn around.
Yeah, it'll be this way. Should have went the upper route, but it's fun. You'll find it eventually while everyone else is watching. So that's it, guys. We've got the 1 through 5.
Somewhere. Actually,
no, I think it's
from up there.
Go to the jump boot spawn. Yep, and then take a left up here, the right side. And then that's the cubby hole that you want to go out of, and then jump.
There's
boot.
a sneaky keg up there.
Oh, there it is. Nice
Sneaky
job.
hobbits.
There you go, Lynx. The sneaky
Also
keg
just
route.
dodge out of there and boot up, or I'm not sure if you can reach it with a hammer. You may.
I
don't know.
think you can get it with hammer and rocks, but I mean in Showdown, do you really want to lose that HP for that? I mean to get another 800 HP.
It's a good hiding spot too. There's actually another spot down where the armor is as well, if I can find it. Wait, this is yep. You can also
Look
hide
at
up
that.
in there.
Yeah, I
Oops.
saw that. Right above the pipes.
I never even noticed that. Yeah.
Yep.
See, and that's what I'm saying. There's all sorts of. Every time you play this map, you're going to learn more about it and learn new awesome lines. And a lot of these maps too. We didn't really comment on it while we've been reviewing them, but a lot of them hold up in DM, like just general getting in the game and kind of having fun. Which
part
is
of the premise, really. That since that's kind of the way we've built Showdown, is they serve a dual purpose of also working well as TDM or FFA maps if they're work well for Showdown.
Did you guys find any Easter eggs?
We did not go Easter egg hunting per se.
Is Chumbo's face on these maps? Old school call out for anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, these maps were awesome, guys. We loved this contest. We're super thankful that we got to work with Mapcore and Sprawny Van Johnson, who was in the chat today with us.
Amazing guy. So
congrats to all the winners. Congrats also to everybody as a runner-up and everybody else who actually submitted something. I mean,
and a big thanks to you guys because I know you were super busy.
It deserves to be mentioned that anybody who actually managed to bring something to the end and submit it, that's a really awesome effort. That's like that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, we were actually hoping that some of the guys who did some of the other maps just keep working on them. And
starting things is easy. Actually, finishing something is hard. That's really where that's where you make it or break it. So it's awesome to see
like
so many people.
So
many people actually go for that. So awesome job,
exactly.
everybody. Even those people we didn't mention today specifically, we all did an amazing job. So.
Yes.
Yep.
Very, very awesome. Let's go through the maps again. Number 5 was Exo. Number 4 was Vacant. Number 3 was Bat Rankus. Number 2 was Croft, and number 1 was Unsaved, and hopefully it will be saved soon.
Yes.
Congratulations
to all you guys again.
DM save ass.
Please don't make that your next map.
I think I saw the Bat Rankus creator comment in chat saying he apologizes for the. How does this work?
Yeah.
He apologizes for all the death pits.
Oh no, it was
great.
It was definitely worthwhile for my entertainment.
We don't feel
anyways.
sorry when Stu gets angry at us. But we actually enjoy it. So.
Stu, we love you. So congratulations to Shelly, who's going to be having a baby very soon. Clint was very kind to help us out today. We will be seeing you guys soon in the form of some videos coming up about what we're doing, the team doing. Please keep talking to us on Facebook, Twitter, and
jump into Discord.
Discord, come talk to us on Discord, where most of us are online there all the time. And thank you to the guys in the community. who have been doing content. Tiaru has done some stuff lately. And once again, thank you to Mapcore for helping us with this
Thanks
content.
to Mapcore and Chris K, who initially helped drive this
Chris
entire
K,
thing on the
Volcano
inside,
Man.
so to speak. So.
Volcano Man. We will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much.
See you guys.
See ya.